Yo, welcome to Sports and Street Talk. My name is Josh Portis, and today we got a very special guest in the building. We all the way at Delaware State with the one and only Clinton Portis. Y'all know who he is. 9-year NFL vet, NFL Hall of Famer, legend. Welcome to the show, baby.
Appreciate you having me, man. It was good.
Yeah, not much, man. So we here at Dale State, man. I mean, obviously, you know, your career it speaks for itself. I mean, I think me personally, one of the best zone scheme running backs to touch the ball. I mean, he was a house call every time he touched the rock, man. Describe to me your time, you know, playing with Mike Shanahan, and you know, before we get into the coaching aspect, describe to me the time that you played with Coach Shanahan and how that kind of propelled your career to what it is.
I stayed playing for Coach Shanahan, Coach Coobs. You know, I don't think Coach Coobs get the credit he deserved, but that duo together was like playing for two geniuses, because it was a chess match with them at all times.
Yeah.
And normally they won, you know, their scheme won. So having the luxury to play for both of them, it was just one of those, I was young, so I didn't understand really the luxury that I had.
Yeah.
And then the teammates that I had around me, when you talk about the Rod Smith, the Shannon Sharp, Terrell Davis,
Yeah.
Jake Plummer, Brian Greasy, Ed McCaffrey, Al Wilson, you know, Ian Gold, the luxury that I had as far as teammates are concerned, it was crazy, because you thought the entire league was going to be like that, especially coming from UM, where we were close in college. Then you go to a NFL team that's close, that had just come off of winning the Super Bowl a couple years prior to, like, that exposure was crazy, because you thought, like, boy, it's a brotherhood everywhere I go. It was dope. It was fun times, good times. You know, we have a Broncos group chat where I get to keep in touch with all the guys, and every day, you know, I just take shots at all of them. I'm talking about from the top to the bottom. I take shots at Champ. I take shots at Nick Ferg, CY, Foster. So all the guys are in it, and we have a good time. Rod Smith, I think he keeps us lighthearted, and Ruben Drones, who was in the backfield with me as well. So a bunch of good guys in there, and it's good to have to still have that bond 23 years later.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just named it. I mean, a lot of great players that you play with, obviously a legendary coach that you play with. I mean, I got a chance to play at that stadium, and since you playing running back, I want to bring this up. I played a couple series out there, and it was hard to breathe at that Mile High Stadium, man. How did you attain to manage that type of condition, you know, being in that element, up high off the ground, you know, really hard for opponents to come in there and play just because of the breathing aspect. How did you attain to manage that, since you obviously played the running back and you was toking that thing at least 25, 30 times a game?
So it was in Vesco Field, and it was dope. It was unbelievable to play at. And again, not realizing what you had. You know, for me, it was, once you got conditioned in Colorado, you could run all day. It was no get tired for us, because we were used to it.
Right.
For opponents, it catch them, because I think it was like a 48-hour window. You probably should come in like in the 24. You probably should come on Saturday to play a Sunday game. So teams were trying to come and get acclimated, and I think it takes like 36 to 48 hours to kick in to your body where you feel it. So that's what made it tough for a lot of the opponents. But for guys that train out there, for guys that play out there, you can run all day. Like, you don't even notice it. You just like, I'm just running, having fun. Like, I don't know tired, you know what I mean? And that was amongst the entire team. So you flying around.
You're flying around, absolutely. And then, you know, obviously you playing with Shanahan, playing with those guys, your transition, obviously playing with the Washington Redskins. How was Joe Gibbs like? What was that experience like? Obviously probably different style, more of a power scheme pull, and you know, transition on blockers. How was Joe Gibbs' playing style for you, and how that?
Well, I think it was like I said, going from Coach Shanahan, who was a genius, to Coach Gibbs, who was like the greatest human being of all time, like legendary coach, legendary human. Just the way he carries himself, for all the accolades, you would never know. He's just a great human being and a great leader of men. So to go from Coach Shanahan, which you didn't think like that combination could get any better to going to Coach Gibbs, it was just like legendary, you know. And then being able to adjust my game and still have success once I made that transition was even better. You know, just for Coach Gibbs, for you to find a human like Coach Gibbs to believe in your talent enough to make the move and go out and get you. So it was always like to pay my respects, like to my homage or whatever it is that you would call it. It was always like, I got to give my all for this man because he believed in me. You know, I think he changed my family's trajectory just by making me really a household name. So always being thankful, always being grateful. And then the Snyders, you know, having that HTTR family, the fans going to the DMV, like it was just crazy to go from that, you know, coming from Mississippi to Gainesville, and you like, okay, I got to reinvent myself and go from Gainesville to Miami, and I got to prove myself, in Miami to Denver, and you got a Hall of Famer in Terrell Davis, and you're like, I got to prove myself, and then to go to Washington, it was like constant stops where you were proven worthy, and for those communities all to accept me and reel me in and put up with who I was as a kid to who I was as a man, like I've always been thankful.
Yeah, absolutely. You've actually played with great players around you ever since you was at the U, man, and all you know is competition, and it's kind of strive you to make you a better player, better person every single day, because you know those guys around you are coming in and sharpening their toolbox every single day when they touch the football field. So, you know, I always wanted to, you know, implement and ask you this question, man, because you always, like you already said, you've been a household name. You were a fan favorite as soon as you touched down to Washington. I mean, like, you can go nowhere without people saying Clinton Portis or knowing who you were, man. And that time, man, you had the media, you know, loving you, you know, with the crazy wigs, with the crazy glasses, you know, just having fun. Like, what made you get into that mode of, you know, kind of having fun with the media? Like, what made you do that? Because no other player did that before you. I don't think no other player currently is doing that now. So what made you decide to do that with the media?
I think it was like, it wasn't a plan to do it with the media. You know, it happened unexpectedly that the media came out and caught me entertaining my teammates. So it was like me playing it off, and it kind of started a trend. Like, I think we went on to win 7 or 8 games in a row. You know, we got a playoff win down in Tampa, and it boosted the team morale because at the time that it happened, I think we were 4-6. We had just lost to the Chargers at home, so it was like our season is over before it was supposed to end, you know. And we kind of went on a run from that point on to get into the playoffs and to win a playoff game. So it was just kind of like something that caught fire. It wasn't like intentional, like, oh man, this is great for marketing or I'm marketing myself. It was just, I was playing with my teammates, trying to ease the tension that was around the park, and the media just caught wind of it.
You know, obviously playing for a long time, being around a lot of teammates, a lot of coaches, a lot of people in management, fans, you know, just the atmosphere of football, what football brings, traveling, different cities. What's the favorite thing about the sport and what it's brought to you and your family and to the life of Clinton Portis?
Man, you know, I think the exposure, the camaraderie that you get in locker rooms, you know, when guys retire, is outside of checks. You know, checks are always going to be hard to get, that kind of check. You can still go out and get money, but to go and get that kind of consistent check that you get as a player, that's hard to do. No matter if you were last on the depth chart to the first player on the depth chart, it's still hard to find those kind of checks bi-weekly or weekly, you know. But other than that, I think the bonds, the relationships that you build through working out, through learning, through being in this facility and saying, these are the 60, 65 men that I go to war with this year, and really identifying who those people are, and you leading those people to the promised land or to the finish line, you know, knowing that all eyes are on you and it's up to you, you know, like you got to go out and get it done. And then that's the locker room. That's not mentioning the rest of the organization and the fan base, you know. So all of a sudden it becomes like you got the weight of the world on your shoulder. You know, like the people that spend money to buy these tickets to come to the game, this is their release. Like they come here to get out of a depression. Some people spend their last. Some people come here for Sunday enjoyment. Some people come here as a family venture, you know. So you never know what the fans are going through. So to be able to give them something to look forward to be able to cheer on, to be able to get behind and support, to me, it was just always one of those things like, man, you got to be appreciative because these people don't have to appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Like these people could turn their backs on you. And it happened with a lot of fan bases, you know. Fortunately for me, I was in great places with Miami, with Denver, and with DC or the DMV behind me, where I had a positive impact because I was in the community. They saw the work that I put in. They saw that I was willing to run through a brick wall and leave it on the field. So just being appreciative, man, you know, having those situations, because cities don't have to cling to you. Cities don't have to believe in you or follow you. So to get that, like, it was dope.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I could contest to that too. Just because, you know, obviously me playing in the NFL and being in different locker rooms, man, you build long-lasting friendships and, you know, different experiences to different people depending on what they're going through in life. Definitely being relatable to the fans because, you know, you never know what they're going through and they come to the games just to get a sense of relief in their own personal life. So I totally agree with you there. We here at Dale State now, man, right? You know, we talking about the current now. You know, in the MEAC league, you know, you see a lot of guys getting a lot of opportunities to coach now. The expectations for you here, and just talk about, you know, obviously what gotten you into the coaching now and this coaching realm.
Man, it's like being this is like being in Denver again. You know, like I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. I'm at the bottom of the totem pole, and no one knows what to expect.
That's an interesting
and
way to look at it, CP.
No pressure for me. You know, all the eyes are on Coach Jack. You know, all the eyes are on Coach Blackman and Coach Washington, the coordinators, and then Coach Clark. You know, who's the assistant coach. I'm bottom of the totem pole, and the task that I get is to climb to the top and make sure my group has a voice within this team and lead this team to where we're trying to get to. So that's the task and the responsibility that I get, and it's kind of smooth sailing under the radar. You know, it don't matter if the kids have a good game, maybe I get mentioned. If they don't, maybe I get mentioned. But you know, Jack gonna take all the heat. So it's just one of those situations. It was like being in Denver as a rookie. No one expected me to win Rookie of the Year. You know, it was just, I can recall Coach Shanahan saying, "Hey kid, just come in and give me your all. Be the best that you can be." That equaled Rookie of the Year. And when I look at it as coaching, I want that same situation. I want that same that same appreciation to come, to be Rookie of the Year, to be Coach of the Year, or Running Back Coach of the Year. You know, I don't even know the accolades that come with it because I'm not doing it for accolades, but I'm just speaking as in, to have success as a team brings the attention. I know it was starting in the room. You know, for us to go on and have success, I have seven backs. All seven can play. You know, and I don't know if it was like that or the belief was in those guys last year, but I think my room believes in me. You know, and that's starting with Gilly, going to Jink, going to Kobe, going to James Jones, to Alex Perry, to I got a young kid, Deuce Weston, who's going to be a hell of a talent, and then I got another young kid that's a walk-on, Jaquan Johnson. You know, speedster. So all of these kids that I have the responsibility of coaching, I kind of told them, I can't tell him a secret and not share it with you. So our conversation is kind of open and honest. And I want you to hear what I'm telling him because you might pick up a jewel out of it. So I don't really have many conversations in one-on-one. is let's talk so everybody know what's going on. You don't never want to get the room to think that you're showing favoritism or you picking sides or, you talk to him a lot and you don't really talk to me that much. So I just think as a group, man, finding an identity, being hard-nosed, being tough, and getting in this paint. You know, I tell them their expression, the chance for you to make this fan base love you or to make ESPN or, you know, to get your name buzzing, it happens right here in this paint. Yeah. When you get paint on your jersey, you can do what you want to do. But in between these lines, in between this paint, from end zone to end zone, everything is respectful. Everything is first class. Once you get in that paint, I don't care what your celebration is, and that's what people are gonna remember. So as long as you get in this end zone, enjoy yourself.
Enjoy it. Now, from a player and from a coach, you know, you're looking at things from two different lenses, right? As a player, you're looking at, okay, how can I, you know, execute this block right and maybe get 10, 15 yards. And from a coaching standpoint, you're looking at it like, okay, how could this player, you know, get better at his fundamentals so he can go ahead and do that? Do you find that as a challenge every day when you look at film and you look at the players on the field today?
I don't.
In your room?
I don't really, because I don't coach after, like for me, it's kind of, I got to get you to this point, then it's on you. Gotcha. Once I get you to your landmark or to your first read or your aiming point, I don't have to coach you from that point on. Like, that's on you. So my coaching thus far has been to get you to where you're supposed to be to get this play to develop. And now how this play develops is all on you. If I can get your shoulder square, get you end zone to end zone, not falling towards the sideline, not running out of bounds, like I've done my job. And that's my coaching point, you know. And then it's always, you have so many jewels or so many gems as a coach. You feel like, boy, I might be talking like a rocket scientist, you know, sometimes where you're giving so much information. It's like, are they comprehending it? Right. But the guys do well at taking in and execute what's taught to them or what's asked of them. Right. And I always tell them, just listen to what's being asked, and that's what you do. Like, stop worrying about the big picture. What are you asked to do within this small picture that's going to make the big picture pretty? And that's what it is.
Well said. You talk about, you know, we're both fathers, your fatherhood, you know, you got a couple kids, CP. You know, explain to me how is that driving you every day to become the man you are now, in regards to just making sure the responsibilities are had from your son's standpoint.
It's dope, man. You know, like being a parent, I think when you become a parent, you're scared because you don't know what to do. And as the kids get older, it's like you're releasing them into the world and you want to make sure you've done a good job to get them to that point of walking into the world bright-eyed and not looking at the world, like not looking at the negative within the world. You know, a kid 17 or 18 shouldn't be going on like, oh man, I got to do this. You know, like that was the pressure that was placed upon us. You know, I think my kids should just be able to go out and enjoy themselves and be whatever they want to be. And that's what I try to teach them. Fortunately, a couple of them are going to school. Chaz and Cam get the opportunity to go to school this year. Chaz is committed to Delaware State. Cam is going to University of Miami. So for them to have those opportunities, they created, you know, like it's not about me. I didn't call Miami like, hey man, check Camden out. Yeah. Like, I made sure Miami understood, like if you want Camden, like recruit Camden and let Camden make the choice. I didn't go to him and tell him, like, because this is the part of life that we all want our kids to get to learn and experience, where they're gonna have failure, they're gonna have success. But in those moments of failure, me as a parent, I gotta make sure you understand there's tomorrow and get you on to tomorrow and not let that one day of failure determine the rest of your life or the end of your life, you know? So just as a parent, it's like that concern that we always have. You want to keep the kids away from drugs. You want the kids to be respectful. You want the kids to live longer than you do. You want the kids to kind of have their own lane. So those are I think that's the important stuff in parenthood, you know. Instead of putting pressure on the kid to say, hey, go and be this, or you got to go be better than me. Bro, I'm your parent, and I promise you I'll give you everything I have, all the game in the world, whether it's on the field, off the field, whether it's women, money, whatever it is, whether it's about mistakes or about success. Like, I think I'm an open book to my kids to know that, hey, well, my dad been through it, like, or my dad did it, you know, to have that conversation, and hopefully they take it further than I ever had the opportunity to, you know. But if they don't, just that they be successful in whatever they do, you know. Like, it don't have to be sports. It's a million ways to be successful now, you know. And sustain it for the longevity of it and appreciate it, you know, enjoy it.
CP, let's get back to football, man. You know, you played in the era with a lot of great backs, not LT, but LaDainian Tomlinson, LT, Sean Alexander, Frank Gore, you know, the list goes on. What's some of your backs that you like to watch, you know, when you're growing up? Obviously, you know, we all know how special you were, but, you know, what's some of the backs that you used to like to watch when, say, you had an off week, or, you know, you're sitting back on the couch and you be like, I want to watch this guy? Well,
I think when we were in the mix of playing, Fred Taylor. Fred Taylor was huge. Corey Dillon, Marshall Faulk, LaDainian, Edge, Frankie G. So those guys were just the guys that was challenging you every week. So you had to see, like, Ricky Williams, you know, like, you got to see these guys and what they're doing to this defense. So for me, like Fred T and Marshall or Curtis Martin, you know, like, when you look at those backs, you try to find backs with your similarities, you know, and that's what I did week in, week out. Like, who just played this team, who had success against this team, who failed against this team out of these top backs, and why, you know, and trying to figure out what they did differently to get them to the success side.
We value so much on backs, man. You just named, you know, some legendary backs. I mean, then you saw the NFL kind of transition to more the spread system, 4 wide, and you heard talks about people devaluing the running back position. Do you think the running back position in the executive minds and the general managers' minds were devalued, or you think Saquon Barkley kind of erased that perception of backs is very important and we need a great one?
Well, I think backs are important. Even in the devaluing of backs, it was more toward money, because the teams that won the Super Bowl still had a back. You know, if you look at the Chiefs run, they had a back. You know, if you look at San Fran or Coach Shanahan, Coach Kyle Shanahan, he had a back. You know, if you go up to Detroit now, Jahmyr Gibbs, the 2-back system is working. You know, you get to the Eagles and you're saying Saquon. You go out to San Fran and you got McCaffrey. Like, you go in New Orleans, like, it's so many backs throughout the league that don't get the attention because you don't have a fullback anymore. Yeah. So fullback's been removed, so you don't get that, what made us fall in love with the game, the violence of it, that downhill, let me pick up this 1 yard, mano a mano, that's missing. You know, the things that's missing in the sport, like, that made it better, was the fact that we had a fullback that can get after. I had Mike Sellis in front of me. I had Reuben Drones in front of me out in Denver, Mike Anderson. So when you look at those guys and how tough they were and the sacrifices they made, that allowed me the opportunity to shine, you don't have anybody doing that now. You know, so it looked like the back get all the credit, but if you go and look at the teams, the Baltimore Ravens, the 49ers, they got a fullback, you know, and that's why they're having so much success in the run game. And it's always a cycle. It'll come back around. You know, I think you have guys that have so much talent, especially with the Raiders taking it back in the top 5. These guys, you know, it's just circling back around, and they got to get the league back to where, you know, it went to every quarterback is one of the best quarterbacks, and he's throwing the ball
Yeah.
50 times a game.
Yeah.
To now the realization is, yeah, we were wrong on him.
Yeah.
Let's hand it off. So you just got to get it back to, 66, 33%. Get a good healthy split where it's not 80-20 pass throwing. If we can get it back to 60-40, or I'll take 33%. But just to get those numbers up, I think it'll come back.
I'm sure he's one of your favorite teammates that you play with, and I'm sure he was definitely one of my favorite players to watch. Sean Taylor, RIP Sean Taylor, God rest his soul. I wanted to bring him up just because you talk about a guy that was really changing his life, and a fierce competitor, relentless hitter. What impact has he left you, since he's no longer here, and how has he kind of helped you kind of see things differently as well?
Really appreciation, man. Like to go through that entire ordeal, to see where Sean was as a man, what he was growing into, who he was becoming, and having his life taken, to the realization of, like, we take so much for granted, and we always plan for tomorrow, and tomorrow is not promised. So the great thing about it is, it's not many days that I come into contact with humans that someone don't bring him up. So early on, it was kind of like, I want to keep all these stories a secret, like, I don't want to talk about Sean. Like, this is so personal, I want to keep it inside. To, as I've grown, the realization of Sean impacted so many people's lives, like sharing stories with anyone, with a stranger, has been great, because not only is it good to talk about it, it's good to talk about it so you're not keeping it inside and bottled up and you forget it. Like, I started forgetting so much of the stuff that we did that when I started talking about it, it made it better, because now it bring me back to those moments. It put me back in that story. So I just started talking about it. I started sharing. If people ask me about it, give me a crazy Sean T story. I can run it down, compared to, it's like, nah, I ain't got none. And you cherishing it so much, and you protecting it so much that you forget about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about some of the hobbies that you like to do, getting away from the game, and, sometimes obviously not being, you're always a parent, but, you have time to yourself. What does Clinton normally like to do?
Man,
behind
time
those
to
closed
yourself. What's that? Like, when you become a parent, it's no time to yourself.
Time, huh?
Like, that disappears. So imagine how the single moms, imagine how our generation that had single moms that had to go to work, had to be here to cook, like this generation, even though women do a good job at parenting, the fact that your mom went to work, was home by the time you got home from school, cooked, laid your clothes out, ironed them, washed them, like the house was clean, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Those days are kind of, those days are gone, and it's all Grubhub and
DoorDash.
You ordering food, DoorDash and Uber Eats. So
the home cooked meal is a lost art now.
Yeah, home cooked meals. And I hate it. Boy, that hurt.
Oh, it hurt.
That hurt. Boy, it hurt so bad. But just it's me time is so hard to come by, and I thought that before I started coaching. When you start coaching and you're over here 10, 14-hour days trying to game plan, and you doing. I signed up to be a coach, not realizing, I'm an admin, I'm a professor, I'm a hall monitor. I check,
faculty
it's
member.
A lot. Yeah, it's a lot to come with
Yeah.
this, But you wouldn't really change it, because it gives you a chance to lead by example, and when the kids see that you're willing to do it, then they do it. Like that, instead of you saying, go over there and do it, the kids see you just go do it and not even make it a scene. The next time when you look, before you can move, a kid will jog over and do it. Oh, coach, I got that for you, And I think just as a staff, as a coaching staff, we have so many coaches or so many men or so many leaders of men that came together that's going to make this a special season.
Yeah. I think so too. I think what you guys are building here is going to be special. You know, the environment here is definitely going to change. The community is going to get involved, and obviously you guys got household names like yourself and Deshaun and, you know, Sammy Parker, who played at Oregon. You know, some other guys and you guys got an experience in coaching staff too, so you guys know what you're doing. And I'm excited for the process of it, man. I really am, and excited for you and in the beginning of your coaching career and where it goes. But, you know, I really appreciate the time of sitting down and speaking with us, man. Is there any last things that you want to say to the people, man, in regards to, you know, life lessons, you know, never giving up, or anything positive you want to say to people?
I just say, you know, when you look at people, man, giving up, what's giving up? You know, and people, they get so, our younger generation and all of that, like our parents instill in us no quit. You know, kids quit or people quit every day. They just give up. And they don't know how close they are to knocking down that barrier, breaking through the wall. And then even when you fall down, as a running back, I think one of the best lessons that I learned is no matter how many times you fall, get back up. So in life, when you get off the field, you have those same adventures, you have those same experiences. Get back up. You know, like something might not work. Hey, man, okay, keep you know, the hell with it. On to the next, you know, and do it until you find your niche. And if you don't find your niche, it's always other opportunities.
You gotta keep
going,
you know,
like it's always other opportunities. So find what makes you happy. You know, people look at it like, oh man, you know, like you coaching now. Bro, I've been coaching. I've been a part of the community for, I'm 44 in a week. I've been in the community since 17, you know, and people never knew it. People never knew I was the one behind it. Never been broadcasted, never brought the cameras out. Still been in the community, been in Haiti, been in the cities. Like, bro, doing stuff that makes you happy and being genuine in your, being genuine in what you're doing is, you don't need lights, camera, action. You don't need the pat on the back or the good job. I think the good Lord gives you an opportunity to see the impact that you have on kids, you know. And for myself, I was so fortunate to partner with London Fletcher, Antoine Bethea, Nate Clemens, Dr. Marty Connor, and we started helping kids get into school about 4 years ago. And to see the success that we're having, you know, out of the original kids that we started with, which I think were about 14 kids, we got maybe 9 kids going to college this year. And that was our original class. We got 9 or 10 kids already committed to going to college, which will be our first class, you know. So 10 out of 14 going to college. And you look at those men and say, I know all the work we put in behind it. I know all the travel, the money. I know everything that went into this. And we left no kid behind. And it didn't matter your circumstances. If we felt you deserved that opportunity, we gave it to you. And I think that was satisfying in its own right, that now when these kids are calling and you see these kids signing, I think we're happier than the parents are. Just knowing, like, boy, that was blood, sweat, and tears, you know, and a lot of sacrifices. So it's enjoyable, man. Just keep living. You know, when the good Lord ready for you, He'll come get you. He'll reel you in. It's just like fishing. You go out deep sea fishing, you reel it in, it was time, you know. But there's plenty of fish in the sea, there's plenty of days left. Keep living.
Any last shout outs? I know you got a football team that you do, right? That you kind of run.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, Carolina Prospects. Y'all already know Coach CP holding it down for you.
You know.
But the Carolina Prospects is who I was speaking of, the organization. So to see those kids again advance, man, is dope. So for everybody that played a part, from the trainers and Trench Work, you know, make sure I shout out Trench Work because he came in and just believed in us and ran with it, you know, and all the kids are training with him and elevating daily to move on to the next level. So just everybody that was involved, man, everybody that played a part from Dr. Connor, making sure the kids all GPA and school scheduling and everything that came along with what he had to do to give us the opportunity to participate, man, is dope.
Man, I think it's really dope, man, your story, your journey, what you've done, what you've been through, how resilient you've been through your past tribulations, trials, errors, success, failures. I mean, look at you now, CP, man. I mean, getting back to the community coaching now. I mean, you're doing it all.
Keep watching, man.
You,
Keep watching.
You're
That's
never
all
stopping,
I can tell
man.
you. Keep watching.
You're never stopping, man.
When he called me, that's when I'm gonna stop.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
yes, sir.
it.
And you know, check this episode out. Clinton Portis here. Check us out on www.snstalknet for all the latest episodes, merch. Check us out in 44 countries right now. We're going crazy in Germany. But yeah, stay tuned. Peace and love.